Okay, good morning, my dear students. After a long gap due to the effect of lockdown, as you know already about the coronavirus spreading, we are unable to take the or engage the classes. Today, I am coming in front of you to discuss with the topic that is allotted for me. So, bioenergetics. In case of bioenergetics, we have to study glycolysis or EMP pathway, Krebs cycle, and electron transport system. So, before going to study these three reversible cyclic events, let us know the things which are concerned with these three processes or these three pathways. These three processes are the final respiratory pathways to release the energy in the cells of living organisms. So, we must know something about the respiration. In case of the green plants, which manufactures the food by using the radiant energy of the sun during photosynthesis, and this energy, that is the radiant energy of the sun, is stored in the form of potential energy or chemical energy in the food materials, and the food materials in the cells are oxidized and then stored. Potential energy or chemical energy is released in the form of kinetic energy, that is during respiration. So that kinetic energy is in the form of ATP, high energy bonded molecule, that is ATP, which is used for life activities or vital activities. Means the radiant energy is converted into potential energy or chemical energy, and that potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. That kinetic energy is used for the life leading activities in living organisms. So, oxidation of the food materials that requires oxygen, which is taken from the environment by the living systems. So, this oxidation of the food materials releases CO2 and ATP. In animals, particular organs takes oxygen in and giving out carbon dioxide. But in plants, the process takes place through stomata and through the lenticels. In the sense, these three processes are a part of respiration in living organisms. So, what is respiration now? So, respiration is an oxidative process where food materials undergoes oxidation to release carbon dioxide, water and energy. Respiration is an oxidative exothermic catabolic reaction, breaking down of the food materials to release carbon dioxide, water and energy. And that food material which undergoes oxidation is mainly hexose sugars, and energy which is liberated, that is in the form of ATP. So one molecule of glucose oxidation liberates 38 molecules of ATP with the release of CO2 and H2O. One molecule of glucose breakdown releases 38 molecules of ATP with the release of CO2 and water. So in these living organisms, the respiratory substrates are either carbohydrates or proteins or fats. So in organisms, that is, there are two types of respiration. One is aerobic respiration, another one is anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means the oxidative breakdown of respiratory substrate. The oxidative breakdown of respiratory substrate with the help of atmospheric oxygen is called aerobic respiration. In the sense, the organisms which uses oxygen for the breakdown of respiratory substrates is called aerobic respiration, and the organisms were referred as aerobes. And anaerobic respiration means the oxidation of respiratory substrate is in the absence of oxygen, is anaerobic respiration. In case of aerobic respiration, there is complete oxidation of respiratory substrate, and in anaerobic respiration, there is partial oxidation of anaerobic respiratory substrate. So anaerobic respiration is also called fermentation, and the respiratory organ or the respiratory apparatus or the respiratory site in living cells is mitochondria. Mitochondria, as you know, it is also called powerhouse of the cell. Just imagine the diagram. Briefly, I will going to tell about the respiratory apparatus.